Hello, my name is Alex, and in this video I have a guest, one of the best tube or valve amps for home, because it has 5 watts and you can switch to a half watt. It is the Blackstar HT-5R MkIII. So you can lower the volume and enjoy the beautiful sound of a tube amp with a really good quality. A really beautiful amp. I will show you all the settings, all the options, the sound, but at first a little bit of the story. Some guys who worked at the company Marshall left the company, and later they decided to make an own company, the Blackstar from England. They are always looking for something new innovations, and although this series has something new, a software with pulses. And I will show you it too. This is a company that produces amps for electric guitars, acoustic guitars, basses. Also they make small amps for traveling or effect pedals and preamp pedals and a little bit different other stuff. I had in the past the MkIII series and now the brand new MkIII from I think 2024. And I'm very satisfied with my choice, and I will tell you why. They also made a digital amp, the ID Core, I think last year, 2024. I tried one in the store, but I didn't like it, because the lower frequencies sound very bad. And the sound is absolutely non-focused and smoothy. It sounds awful. But okay, I think it's their first digital amp, and in the future they will make it better. But in general it's a good company. I tried it once and I fell in love. It's just a question of what do you like. So I like this company and I will show you why. You can also visit their homepage, the blackstaramps.com. It has different languages and there you can register. You can register your product and download all the software, the drivers and the manuals, and see different information about the company and the artists who uses these amps. So now I will show you the details of the amp. So what do we have here? We have a new design, different color, it's darker. We have a new kind of logotype. You can see it's a rectangle. It's square and not like by the MkIII series. It was over the letters here, the edge. And so also we have no protection shields on the corners that were made from metal. So I think it's not needed anymore. It's not in today. So we have a very strong handle and you can pull it. So also we have here 4 rubber feet. And now here on the top we have a different color. The MkIII series had white knobs, cream white, and here we have black. And the sections are the same. And here are just another switches. The MkIII series had some plastic bottoms that you can push down. I don't know if it's a better solution, but it not really matters. So what do we have here? We have the input, we have the clean channel, so we have the volume and the tone, and we have 2 voices, 2 different kinds of sound. And here is the overdrive channel, and here the switch to change the channels. The overdrive channel has a gain knob and volume, and also 2 different voices, 2 different kinds of sound. So the equalization from the overdrive channel, we have the bass, middle, treble and the highs F. You know, if you go left it will be the American sound, and if you go right it will be the British sound. So I have it here also. It's a patented technology. You can see it here, patented ISF control, and I think it's a very good thing. It gives you different kinds of sounds and I like it. Yes, this is this sheet of paper, and here you have all the informations about the speaker. I will show you it later. You can see it on the back side. The 12 inches Blackstar custom designed speaker. So that has two tubes or valves in British English. For the preamp, the ECC83, and for the power amp, the 12BH7. You can see it here. So the 5 watt, the half watt, the cab rig. I will show you all these things later. So here we have the reverb. They say it has a studio quality. I don't know if it's the studio quality, but it sounds good. So here's the switch for the 5 watt and a half watt, and the on-off switch. And as you can see, it has only 2 tubes, and not so many tubes like the big 100 watts amplifiers, but it sounds really good. And if you don't know, a tube amp needs a little bit time. If you switch it on, then you have to wait a few seconds, and you will hear no sound, because the tube needs to get warm, and then the sound will appear. So don't try to make it louder, much louder. If you think, where is the sound? Maybe it's not loud enough. No, stop, just wait a moment, because then it will be very loud. 1/2 watt is also pretty loud. If you turn it fully to the right position, it will be very loud. It's also too loud for a flat. But maybe if you make it here in 9 o'clock, or a little bit lower or more, a little bit more, it will be the perfect level of the loudness that you can use in a flat. And if you use 5 watts, you can also go to practice with a band. I think it will be absolutely enough. Maybe if the drummer is not so loud, but I think it will be enough. 5 watts of a tube amp is much more than a transistor amp. So you will see, it will be pretty loud, and you can practice with a band. So now we have the back side. What do we have here? At first we have the main input for the power supply. For this cable, it's nearly 2 meters long. Then we have 3 speaker outputs, and here the speaker cable. But if you don't know, but attention here, if you pull it out while the amp is on, it can damage your amp. It's not the same like a transistor amp. If the tube amp is on, the power amp always needs a resistance that is connected to it. If there is nothing connected, it can burn, it can be damaged. So don't disconnect it while it's running. Switch it off, then you can change the speaker and then turn it on again. So you can use one 16 ohms speaker, or one 8 ohms speaker, or two 16 ohms speakers. Then we have the cab rig output. Here's the balanced XLR output, then the 6.5 jack, line out or phones. And the good thing is, if you put in the cable, the speaker turns off, and this is great. And not every amp has this option, or the older amps didn't have it. So if you want to record, so you need to increase the volume, but the speaker will be very loud, but I don't want it. So here they solved this problem. I had a transistor amp from Girasov, and there was this problem. If you used the line out, the speaker still worked. So I made a switch, just a simple switch to switch it off, but you can't make it here on a tube amp. As I already said, it always needs a resistance that is connected to it. But they solved this problem here. Somebody said that the XLR output is a DI output, but it is not, because there should be the clean sound, but I connected it to my audio interface and I switched on the Overdrive channel, and there was the Overdrive, there was no DI sound. But this output is, for example, if you go on stage, you can give it to the mixer, so on this line for headphones or recording. And here, this is new, this is the three-way switch. And you have here the AkridA. So you have 3 different pulses. So only with the software you can make different pulses. You have maybe 20 different cabinets, 6 microphones, and you can also change a little bit the distance from the microphones. It's pretty cool, I think. The pulses have a very good quality. It's not something like cheap technologies that you can free download from the internet. No, that are really good ones. The MkIII series had a two-way switch, and there you can choose only between an 1-speaker cabinet and 4-speaker cabinet. So here you have many different options, and 3 of them you can save on the amp. If you record, you can with the software choose many different variations, but here for the amp you can save only 3, and they work only for these 2 outputs, and not for the speaker. The speaker is already a cabinet for itself, so the AkridA is for these 2 outputs. And then we have the line in, it is the 3.5 jack. You can connect, for example, your notebook or the drum machine or something else. So here we have the effect loop, the send return, and a two-way switch. You can change the level of the loudness, plus 4 decibels or minus 10 decibels. So on here we have the USB audio, the USB Type-C. So you can connect it to your notebook, and it's like an audio interface, but not really. I tried it out. You can also download the driver, and I used my DAW system, the Reaper, for example. So and there, yes, you can record it, but there is no monitoring sound in the speakers from the notebook. You hear the sound here from the speaker, so you need to use the headphones. I looked for it, how I can make it that I can hear the sound from the computer, but I didn't find it. But normally it have to work at the beginning. But there is no sound for the outputs. You can choose the outputs from the amp. So it's not really a true audio interface. So it's better to use audio interface and the software together. So you can use the line output to put it in the audio interface and the USB audio to change the AkridA. So the last one is the input for the Footswitch. And I have this Footswitch that is made of plastic. I'm not sure that it is safe because it can break. I think the earlier version had a Footswitch made from metal. So you have 2 switches. This one changes the channels, and this one the 2 voices on both channels. One of the LEDs is white, the other one is red, and they are so bright. It is better to put something on it. It is so bright it blinds. Also the LEDs on the amp. So the cable is nearly 4 meters long. So now I show you this side. So there is a fuse, as you can see, a half or 1 ampere, I think, for different voltages. Then the input, the main input, the inputs for the cabinets, and there is a second fuse, balanced output, the line output, and the switch, the 3-way switch, and then the line in. So in here the switch for the volume level, return, send, the USB on the inner side, and the Footswitch input. So there you can see the speaker impedance, 16 ohms, and as you can see, power rating 20 watts. So the speaker has 20 watts. And there you can also read the type from the speaker, designed and engineered by Blackstar Amplifications Ltd, and they're sitting in Northampton, England. The tubes you can see here. The serial number is here on this side, but I won't show it to you. So that's it. So now I will show you how it sounds, the clean channel, then the overdrive channel, with the equalization. So here we are. I connected the amp with a USB cable. Here's the software, the Blackstar Architect. And I connected also my audio interface, the Scarlett Focusrite, and here I took the signal from the line out and record here the guitar. So we have this small window, and we have here 3 lines. We can mute every of them, and the first 2 we can make them sound single. And here, yes, this is the master volume. But it starts here. We have the cabinets. We have here 23 cabinets and 1 DI. And I will show you how they sound to compare them. Modern UK Neo. I like this one more and this one too. So on here we have 6 microphones and we have the option to activate axis. I think maybe that it's in the middle of the axis, I don't know. Oh yeah, here you can see on the picture is changing. If you change the microphone, and also if we switch on or switch off the axis, the position changes. And here we have the volume of this line. So, and here we have two options. We can select mono, stereo or white. And we have three different rooms, small, medium and large. And we have also damped. Small room, damped, medium room, damped, large room, damped. Mono. Stereo. White. So here we have two volumes. Maybe one is the input volume, the other one output, I don't know. This one doesn't make much change. But this one. And here we have an equalization. So we have the master IQ. We can bypass it. We have here the low cut. We cut the low frequencies and the high cut. This is a very good function. Many amps have this function built in the line out. So the version MkIII had it also. All these too low frequencies and too high frequencies that making noise are cutted. So that makes the sound better. And if there are too much low frequencies, it will resonate with the bass guitar and you will have a bad sound. You will have a smoothy sound. So it's better to cut it. So and here you can adjust it. How much do you want to cut away? So and then we have here the low frequencies, the low mids, the high mids and the high frequencies. And here we have different presets that you can choose. You can choose one of them or you can adjust how you like. We have here the flattener, the cap in the room, focused, bass boost, treble boost, mid scoop, cocked wah, lo-fi, and the 6 microphones. So, and attention here, if you turn the high cut clockwise, it increases more high frequencies, and counterclockwise, less high frequencies. But by the low cut, is it the opposite? If you turn clockwise, it cuts the low frequencies, and counterclockwise and gives you more low frequencies. And here you can save it. Click on this button, save patch to device, so you can choose one of the 3 slots that you can use then, changing the switch on the amp, save path, override, yes. And here you can save it on this software, on this program, save local path. Can give him a name, genre, subgenre, about some information, cool. So that's it. It's pretty nice. You have so much variations, you can do really a lot to get your favorite sound, and great software. In the amp you can save and use only 3 of them, but if you record it on your computer, you can use whatever you want. A really useful software. So as you can see, a very good and multifunctional tube amp with very good sound quality. And what's about you? Do you like Blackstar? Write it in the comments, or maybe some interesting additional information that I didn't told here in this video. It will be very interesting for me and other people, so you're welcome. So that's it. Enjoy the music, have a nice sound, and goodbye.